Hey, everyone, welcome to the recap of The Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time, available on most major podcast platforms. Get new and past episodes for free in the app of your choice, including YouTube. For those of you joining us live tonight, thanks for taking time out of your evening to be here. I'm your host, Tamara, and I love a good TV show and a good book. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at The Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is co host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey Tamara, hey everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I'm also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop cultures. If you'd like to connect with me online, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Lisa Orban Author or at Indies United Pub.
All right. So before we get going, we just want to remind you that we would love your participation in this conversation. So if you're listening live on YouTube or Facebook, hit us up in the comment section. If you're catching this on a replay, you can still comment on any platform, or you can even call us by using the voicemail link in the show notes. We want to hear
Mm,
from you and possibly include your comments in upcoming episodes. So if you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
absolutely, Tamara. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Yes, no scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around a lot and huge spoiler alert for every episode, every show through this yesterday evening. So we don't go ahead.
We can, but we
Yes,
don't. For
we don't.
you, for the
I know.
integrity of the show, we do not. It's hard.
This season has been especially hard not to. The last episodes have been so good. It's been really hard not to watch ahead, but
Do
we
you know what
have
I
done
have?
it.
Do you know what I'm taking comfort in?
What's that?
That the people that are watching ahead will have to wait 2 weeks in between the last episode they watch and the finale,
Oh, that's
and I won't.
right. That's right, because
Yeah,
they are holding back the finale.
yes, they are.
That's a 2-week wait. That sucks for y'all.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, let's jump into it. Today we are talking about episode 19, Fun Times. What'd you
Honestly,
think?
whatever they named that episode, it should have been Mercer has an identity or a crisis of faith.
Yes. So the episode title was Variant, and I get why, but I agree with you, Lisa. Mercer was on some other stuff in this episode. Like, what's going on?
No, I mean the whole story arc. Every person that Mercer encountered has pushed him to the point, pushed him a little more into the point of why am I doing this? What do I believe in? Do I believe in this anymore? Am I doing the right thing? And you can see it's just like, it's like just one nail being pounded into his coffin right after another. And it's like a gut check by the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see how Mercer acts next episode because this was an emotionally tolling episode for him.
Yeah, I think quite a few people have talked to him in this episode about,
Mhm.
what is why are you doing this? And
Mhm.
leading into this episode, he's had several conversations and he's done several things that would make you think he had made some progress as
Mhm.
far as his loyalty to the Commonwealth and as far as being reasonable about things. And then he snaps right back. And I know he's doing it in the best interest of his sister, trying to protect her. I think that's
Mhm.
his motivation, but it's not hidden because clearly Max is like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
and
give a
well, because it starts
yeah.
with Rosita, and Rosita's like, "Really? This is how we're gonna play it? Okay.
Right.
You do know you're wrong, right? You're wrong."
She's
You
like, "Are
know.
we gonna act like we don't know each other now? Okay, got it. This is
And
what
then
we're
it's
doing."
and then it was Princess.
Yeah.
And I mean, and she said, I maybe I shouldn't have to, just, it could always be worse, yes, but couldn't it also be better? Why should I have to accept, the status quo right now just because it could be worse? And that little speech she gave to him, I mean, I thought that was a really powerful, you know, point that she made, you know.
Yes.
And then, his sister Max, And then at the very end, Eugene, and Eugene didn't accuse him of anything, but that was the fact that he said, "Nope, it was just me." And
Yeah.
you could just see the look on Mercer's face, and it's his armor is starting to crack.
Yeah, even though I thought it was before, but I guess this is really making him see that, wow, Eugene is a really good guy. He's gonna take
Hmm.
all of this on himself.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
and there was, and I, going back to even going to Princess, she, when she had the talk with Mercer, and then when she also talked, with Ezekiel, it was that, don't I deserve something more than just, it could be worse than the best out of a bad situation. And Ezekiel was just like, yes. I mean, there's no speech with it. It was just, yes, you
Yeah,
do, and so a lot of our characters are having that. I mean, I'm not for the Mercer, yes, but a lot of our other characters, not so much a come to Jesus moment, but that, things could be better, and we don't have to put up with this.
absolutely. And I think that philosophy, believe it or not, where things could be worse, a lot of people actually think that way. They
Yeah,
think, "Oh, well, I have a job, it could be worse." And that's true, but just because it could be worse, does that mean you just have to settle for the okie doke? No, you don't.
yeah.
And
Well,
that
and
is the
it's
best
why a
point.
lot of people, that's why, that change is hard. It's hard to take that
Yeah.
first step, because there is a comfort in the uncomfortableness, if it's known.
Mhm.
If it's, if you sit in an uncomfortable chair, or you're in an uncomfortable situation, if you're familiar with it, and you accept it more, because it is, there's a comfort in the familiar.
Yes.
And Princess is basically saying, yeah, but I don't have to. I'm not going to cut myself off from the possibility of having happiness, because it could be worse.
Right. And that I think it really her speech really hit home. And then not only
Mhm.
that, we learned a lot about her past really quickly.
Mhm. And I liked how they did it.
Yeah.
They gave us this really, I mean, it wasn't a really long speech or anything, but it was, this is, I was, Daddy Evil, Daddy Evil too. Um,
Mhm.
and that whole, and her point that, I'm not going to be complicit in my own misery. I'm not going to sit there like my mom did and just go,
Stand by. Yeah. I'm
it
not
could
gonna
be
stand
worse.
by and let it happen.
Right.
And I'm not like and she's right. By doing nothing, you are essentially saying you're fine with it.
Hmm. And Evil Daddy's, little speech of, um, I put a roof over your head. I feed you. All your basic necessities are being taken care of. So what gives you the right to complain?
Right.
And
Like the Commonwealth, you have all these things. Who
yeah,
cares if we're not being fair to you? Who cares if
right,
we kill innocent people? You've got all this stuff. You should be
right.
happy.
It doesn't matter if you're unhappy. It doesn't matter if we make you miserable. It could be worse.
Mhm.
And and that's kind of been the theme ever since they came to the Commonwealth from the very beginning. It's just really that idea is really picking up momentum, because everyone has kind of been saying all along, okay, it's not perfect, but it could be worse.
Yes.
You got ice cream, but no civil rights. It could be worse. You know,
Isn't this ice cream delicious enough? Isn't that enough to, satisfy you? No, it's not.
exactly. And so, you and with and considering how bad the world has fallen to pieces, and the fact that, especially the newcomers, they've been for a long time without ice cream, and bakeries, and hot showers, well, maybe not so much showers if they're in Alexandria, but you know what I mean. I mean, the day-to-day things that we have in our modern society that have been lost to them for years, are there, in the
Right.
Commonwealth. And there is an enticement to that, to have your material needs are being met, but it's not
There's a
meeting their
price for everything,
right.
right?
There
Nothing
is
is
a
for
price.
free. Nothing. So you
Literally
take
in this case because they
yeah,
use money. You know?
right. So I mean, you take the luxury, right? Even if you're in the low end apartments, right?
Mhm.
Even if you're in the ghetto of the Commonwealth, right? You're
Yeah,
not getting all the things. You're not eating the fresh fruit. You're
right.
not
But they're still looking at those guys going,
yeah,
"Yeah, but it could be worse.
it
You
could
could
be
be out
worse.
there." So in every step, they're that's the whole premise that the Commonwealth is built on. It's not that this is a great place, it's that it could be worse.
Mhm.
And so everyone's kind of trying to step above, the next person. Um, but there's no, kind of like last week when the walkers got out, came in upon the scene. One of the things that didn't happen is they did not work together. They didn't. You could see that the people in this community don't think of themselves.
They're not family.
They're not family. They're not community. They're people who are coexisting together,
Yes.
and that's it. I mean, whereas we know, from years of watching, the rest of the characters when it comes to, Alexandria, Hilltop, Oceanside, even the saviors. Honestly, if there was a crisis, if the walkers broke in, everybody jumped in to help.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know,
even to the point where, Judith, a child had to show some mercy by putting the getting the bullet into the
yeah,
walker's head. Like no one even gave a fuck to try to help him. No one did. They're just
right.
looking like, "Oh, well,
Too
you're
bad.
bad." Yeah, exactly. It's
You know,
like,
and
"Wow."
and the fact that Milton's going after. I mean, is that her name? Yeah, Milton is going after Eugene for killing her son, but not going. And she even knows that was just a secondary effect. That it was Horton. No, what's his name in the cell?
Oh,
Hornsby.
Hornsby, yes.
She knew it was Hornsby that orchestrated this whole thing. He as much admitted it. Yeah, I didn't mean for your son to die. We were just trying to shake things up and, kind of give you a taste of what could happen. You know, he admitted it. So she knows that it was him. And she still wants to have a public execution of Eugene
Yes.
because
Yeah. Well,
what?
yes, Hornsby was the cause of that, right? His
Hmm.
team's actions caused it, but Eugene pushed the walker into him. So, I guess she wants everyone's head she can get. And she's only, I guess, giving Max a semi pass because she's been loyal to her for so long.
Well, and she doesn't want to lose Mercer.
Exactly. And she
I
knows
think it
that.
has way more to do with Mercer than it has to do with Max.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, think about it. If Hornsby is going down, right? He was
Hmm.
your guy in the ace in the hole, supposedly. So what's
Hmm.
left? Mercer is what's left. You need
Hmm.
him. So of course you're gonna save his sister along with
Yep,
that. So he's gonna go against you if you kill her. So you can't kill her.
exactly.
Yeah.
And she was willing to use Max as the bargaining tool to get Eugene,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand grief. Most of us understand grief, but at the same time, one, her son was heinous. I mean, even as she's laying there waiting for him to come back, and by the way, he's a real slow developer, isn't he?
Yeah, he took a long time to come back.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
Uh, I bet he didn't walk till he was 2. Anyway,
Right.
um, I'm just saying. But she knew that he was not a good person. Not on the surface, not deep down inside. He wasn't a good person. He wasn't she even says, to the corpse as she's waiting for him to reanimate, you know, we had our differences and you weren't always the best, kind of thing. I mean, she acknowledged that he had done terrible, terrible things. And
I think
yet,
it's just blindness of a parent. Like, for example, not to mess shows, but I just got finished watching an episode earlier of another Sunday night show where the woman is so blind to how awful her son is, but no matter what, she's gonna put him on the throne. You know what show I'm talking about.
yeah, I
The
do.
guy's freaking the worst person on the planet. Same case here. He is
Right.
awful. He is not fit. He cannot do that job,
Yeah.
but you are going to force it. You're going to force his hand because of blood, because
Right.
of tradition, because of blah
And
blah blah.
and the thing of it is I don't think Max would have done what she had done if she hadn't had heard her, her say, "You will lead this community
Yes.
one day. This will be yours."
Right.
You know,
That
so
was
you
the
need
flip. That was
that
the switch that flipped her, I think,
yeah.
officially.
I mean, she had already had doubts, she had already had reservations, she had kind of, she'd already done some on the fringe bad, but I think up until that point, she always thought that in the end, her son would, or yeah, the son would not, Milton's son would not take over because she would realize what a truly terrible human being he was. That
Right.
somehow that she would come to, accept the fact that she loves her son, but she would not push to have him be the leader of the community.
Yeah.
And when Max, after everything that happened, all the bad that came out, after they've all learned of all the terrible things he's done, and she was still standing there going, "You will be the leader of this community," and Max went, "Nope."
Yeah, not if I have anything to do
Yeah,
with it.
nope. And
Exactly.
even, I mean, his death was purely accident.
I know the hijinks. Like it was really not on purpose.
It wasn't. I mean, he
Yeah.
was, Eugene was trying to save Max. He bumped into the walker, or pushed the walker away. And if Horns, or if whatever the kid's name was, hadn't been,
Sebastian, wasn't it?
yeah, Sebastian, if he hadn't have been trying to snatch at Max, away from Eugene, he wouldn't have been in the path of the walker. Then
He
again,
wanted
if
to
he,
attack her because he was mad.
yeah, then again, if he had been, oh, I don't know, even 20% competent, there's no way he would have been run over by this, Walker. He had every opportunity to get away. If that had happened to any of our other, outsiders, the outer community people, they wouldn't have gotten bit.
Look, that just shows you that all his fake training was actually fake and did nothing. He knew
Exactly.
nothing. He didn't even try to run or anything. It was strange how that walker just got a hold of him and he couldn't get away. It was very weird.
It was, the thing, because at the beginning of the season, we see him, going to the different training things and so on. But you could see then he was completely incompetent, and it was driving Daryl nuts because
Oh yeah.
they had he had Daryl's weapons
Yeah.
and he was completely abusing the weapon. Oh,
He
that
looked
hurt.
like
You
a
could,
child swinging around a weapon who has no clue what to do with
yeah.
it.
I think it hurt. It hurt Daryl deep inside to watch him do this, and not
Mhm.
snatch his weapons away from him, But he didn't listen. He never learned. He always thought, well, kind of like what was it when Eugene was it Eugene? Yeah, it was Eugene. Hornsby had kind of set it up so that he could save, Sebastian and be a hero. And,
Mm.
it's because the walkers are right there and he did nothing. Is all he did, after the quote unquote training, and he got in trouble, and Eugene got in trouble that time because, he hit Sebastian
Oh
for
my
being an
gosh.
idiot, you know?
Yeah, it's wild. I think Pamela is she is not I don't think what she thinks is gonna happen still. So, going to the end with the whole Hornsby thing, she brought her Walker son in there
Yeah.
and then threw the other guy. Wasn't that one of the people that had killed people?
Yeah.
He somehow they got him and threw him in there.
Mhm.
So, what's gonna happen, do you think, in that room with Hornsby, the Walker, and that other guy that's
I
knocked
don't
out?
know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. He's in a locked room.
Yes.
Um, and as we've seen, I mean, the thing about a walker, it's not that they're so much fast or agile or sneaky, it's that they're persistent.
Mhm.
You can shove them away and shove them away, but after a while, there's only so much you can do. Now, I don't. Did she leave a weapon with him? I can't. There
I
was a
don't
sword in there, but I don't remember if she left it or not.
I don't know, but the world beyond that one episode said it perfectly when they explained how the walker never gets tired. They
Right.
never get sleepy.
Hmm.
And everyone else does. Even a mouse has got to sleep eventually, but the walkers don't. So
Right. I
that's a
mean,
long fight if you can't figure out how to kill that thing.
right. I mean, let's be real truthful here. As a human being, there's certain things. He will eventually have to stop to pee.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Yeah.
not a big room. Um, Now, I mean, if it was Daryl in there, I go, oh yeah, Daryl. He'll kill the walker.
Mhm.
You know, and Hornsby is actually fairly vicious, but he's not. I don't know. I give him 50-50 odds.
I mean, honestly, at least she gave him a chance by untying his hands. She gave him a
Right.
chance.
So I give him about 50-50. But if he does survive, I mean, is she gonna kill him?
Mhm.
You can do a service to the family. This is the only one you can do. You know.
Oh my gosh. And I gotta say, I loved how she used his own coin against him.
Uh-huh.
That was kinda cool, but he, I guess, guessed right, so he didn't die immediately.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, basically he didn't realize it, but she was given a choice between a slow death and a long death
right?
or
And
a fast death.
he probably wanted the fast death, honestly.
Yeah.
If he can't beat the walker and kill it, he'll pray for that he had the fast death.
Yeah.
So,
So like I said, I'm not sure. I mean, if she left the weapon with him, he'll survive
mhm.
because he is a survivor. He has survived outside of the walls. He's killed his share of walkers. So he's not completely soft. If she didn't leave him a weapon, I don't know. I
You know what though? This also shows that Pamela is not playing around.
yeah.
And if he thought she was soft before, this is gonna make him think twice about underestimating her because she is vicious when she wants to be.
Oh yeah. We all kind of assumed that.
Mhm. I
She's
think
all
he thought she was soft though.
yeah.
Honestly, I think he thought he could just manipulate her easily with
Mhm.
no consequence.
Well, and I think he could for as long as her son was alive
Mhm.
to a certain degree because he did know Sebastian's secrets.
Yes.
So, I mean, he could blackmail her, he can manipulate her because, no matter what, she always put, no matter what terrible thing Sebastian did, she would try to get it swept under the rug and make it all go away for him.
Mhm.
So I mean that had always been Hornsby's, ace in the hole.
Yeah.
He always, as long as he was alive, then he knew he always had to get out of jail free card.
Yeah, and when her son died, all bets are off. There's no leverage anymore.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So, and I think, when he watched when that walker came in, I think he realized, uh-oh.
You like, "Oh, no." Trouble, trouble. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Mm.
You know, but I really thought it was, and it was kind of interesting too, the interaction earlier on with Eugene and Daryl.
Oh, that was a fiasco. Like, the whole thing. I mean, I understand where Eugene is coming from. He
Uh-huh.
feels like he wants to protect his girlfriend. He's not happy to be in there. He wants out. He
Mhm.
wants to, and then of course, Daryl's like, "Okay, you want to try? Try. Go for it. Go.
Yeah.
Try." He looking at him
The
like, "You're not going to win this, but you
the
can
the
try."
the kinda the appraising look, the little, with Daryl's head kinda cocked watching him, and you could see that he wasn't concerned.
No, I think he was
And
just really wondering if he was really gonna go for it.
yeah, and then he had that kinda smirk, he's like, "I think you best move aside,"
Right.
and he
Oh,
and Daryl's just like, "You're not going."
no.
And then Eugene's just like, because I really think Eugene, he here's the thing. I think Eugene really did want to go, but he's also been a coward for pretty much the whole arc of his story.
And he was fighting the cowardice there. I could
Yeah.
tell that, early on when he was talking about going, he's like, "You're
Mhm.
not leaving," and he's like, "Okay," he sits down. But then at the end there, I think he was just at his wit's end when he figured out that they had Max. She wasn't just
Right.
out there anymore. They had her.
Right. Well, and, and as he, because when he back to him and Daryl, when he backed down, because I really wanted Daryl to stop him. He
Mhm.
wanted to have that excuse. I wanted to come get you, but I couldn't.
I got beat up.
I got beat up. He
Yeah.
wanted that, and Daryl wasn't going to give it to him. And then he's like, are cowards born or are they made? And he's both,
Yeah,
and
both.
that's true.
Mhm.
Bravery isn't, you're not necessarily born with it, but it's something that you have to develop. Bravery isn't not having fear. Bravery is being terrified and still doing the right thing.
Right.
That's what true bravery is,
But
not provide.
also, I just of course, this is because it's his girlfriend, right? He really
Mhm.
cares and loves Max. He wants to be with her, so he wants
Mhm.
to save her, and he knows he in his mind, he knows he's pretty much walking to his own death
Mhm.
because there's no way he's gonna walk away from this, from what he's thinking right now.
Right.
So, that's a lot to just go and "confess," quote, unquote, take the
Mhm.
blame, and just let them take you knowing that 9 times out of 10, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So I give him props for that. In the end, he did it. In the end,
Right.
he did the right thing.
He really did. We
Mhm.
should also, talk about the village that, you know, um, they stumbled upon over with,
Yeah.
yeah.
So our boys Jerry and Aaron and, what's that other guy's name?
I don't I don't know. I don't think I
Uh,
ever caught his name.
I know it. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's right there.
And
Uh,
Lydia.
and Lydia Elijah, there we go. Jerry, Elijah, Lydia, and Aaron. They
Mhm.
are making their way, and they come across the place. It looks like a medieval festival grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been I was wondering if maybe that was, like, maybe, one of those, amusement tournament places where they reenact, um, medieval times with jousting and feasting and stuff.
Oh my god, we have one of those, like, in Michigan, and
Mhm.
it's, they have the Renaissance Festival every year, and it's
Mhm.
all those buildings and stuff, like, just built up in hall it's crazy. It looks like the old days,
Yeah.
jousting and everything.
So I'm wondering,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's probably what that was. And as
Mhm.
I'm looking at it, I'm going, one, why hasn't anyone found this before or know about it? And two, that's an awesome place to hang out. I mean, that's where you should have your, you know, your next settlement. And I was going, look, King Ezekiel can come back. And then they were
No.
like, no, no, King Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
And I would be okay with that.
I don't know, he's still on my hit list. I don't think he gonna make it.
I know. As soon as he hurt his knee, I'm like, "Oh, man. Here
Yeah.
comes the death that, Tamara said was coming." I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I was waiting on it too. And like a side note, we'll go back to that, right?
Yeah.
But side note, I saw something. I'm telling you, I hate the reviewers right now who are going ahead. I hate them so much because they are posting willy nilly without
Ah,
care. I saw something scrolling and I did not look. Like, I saw it and scrolled real fast. So, I don't know who, but apparently in next episode, there's a major death. I'm like, "Well, about time because we are several episodes in and nobody has died. Nobody of importance has died
right.
to us, right?"
Right.
So, I'm like, "Okay, well, who's it gonna be? Because we have some options now."
True.
Yeah.
Um, now that, Aaron has had his little talk uh
Lydia.
with Lydia, I'm going, "Oh god, are they giving him like the fond farewell?"
I know. Or now it's gonna be Elijah's time right after he talked her into living in the moment and going for
Yeah,
the love. And
you
now
know,
Elijah dies.
and
Yeah.
again, we now we're talking, we've had, because they focused a lot on Jerry on this episode, and they left it with, I could be King Jerry, yeah.
Oh, he got a lot of time, and usually that's the key. That's the key.
Yeah. So I mean, he got a lot of
Yeah.
time. Eugene got a lot of time. Mercer actually had a lot of time.
Mhm.
So I would say any of those three, because they got, those three are the ones that got the most absolute screen time this past episode.
Yeah. Any of
So
those 3 I think are goners.
yep.
So we will see. But okay, so back to the medieval place. So
Yes.
this is where we finally get some, I guess, time with the variants, right? We get to
Hmm.
see the variants in action.
Well, and you can see immediately as soon as they saw like them trying to turn the doorknob and stuff, their first thought was these were whisperers.
Yes. And that is logical based on
Right.
their past experiences.
Exactly. So that was, that's exactly where they jumped to, and that was what they were basing everything on. And you could see that they were, they weren't too concerned. Um, if since they thought it was the whispers, like, okay, we can deal with this. We'll draw them out, and they had a plan. And but then when that walker, climbed up, the chair and stuff, and picked the rock up.
Mhm.
So it didn't just
Yes.
turn a doorknob or climb a set of stairs. It picked up a weapon.
Yes. Exactly. And it almost makes you wonder. So it's like, well, maybe they're thinking, maybe they even have enough thought or brain power to figure out if I disarm them with a weapon, I could eat them versus just biting them and turning them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that walker wanted to maim them so they could
right.
eat them.
You know,
So,
and when Aaron jumped on him, I mean, he he had in every thought in his mind was, this is a whisperer.
he pulled that face off and he was like, "Oh, it's oh." He
Yeah,
was
because first he was just kind of beating it up,
yeah.
and then ripped its face off, and then oh, and you could
Oh,
just, for a second there, I mean, him and Jerry both are just
stunned.
stunned,
Yes, as they
and
should be.
right, and then he's just kind of holding the face, like, oh, this ain't good. This ain't, and they
No.
kind of talked about, well, we've heard whispers, we've heard rumors, but they kind of got pushed off to, campfire stories, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
And, in a world with zombies, this is not, this is campfire stuff. Um,
Now, you know what though? So, I wonder if we're gonna see more variants in the next episode or not, and then we see more later, or is this the only tidbit we're gonna get, and they're gonna just, like, leave it, to the other
Mhm.
series? I wonder how much they're gonna put in on this variance thing now that they've opened the door.
They really, I mean, unless they're planning on doing something with it, I mean, when they've got so much else going on, I think at this point there's been an introduction. We know that they are rare. So there's been an occasional whisper and rumor about them, but out of all those other walkers that were there, it was only that one that seemed to
Mhm.
have the ability.
Yes.
So it's not like there's herds of these kinds of walkers. That
Right.
he was an aberration. And it could just be that, as with all viruses, there can be aberrations.
Exactly. And I
And
know, we talked a little bit last week about how, Morgan's wife kinda came and
mhm,
twisted the doorknob, she was trying to get in. There was
mhm,
another scene someone had showed on Twitter where there was a walker that climbed over a fence,
mhm, yeah.
and those episodes and I think all of us just kind of put that behind us because it was very early on in the show, and maybe they hadn't sorted out the world building 100% yet, right? No one
Right.
thought about that again. They kinda like, "Well,
Well,
make."
I mean, come to think of it, I mean, we've kinda seen one of the times that, Alexandria was overrun before the Whisperers, um, when, I I'm thinking that there was something a little odd, but with everything else going on, it was like, okay, whatever. And I think it was, the turning of a doorknob.
Really? When? Do you remember the scene?
It was one of the times that the walkers broke through and everyone was kind of hiding in the houses and there was a fire. And I'm trying
Um,
to remember, it wasn't this past season. It was like 2 seasons ago. It was right before the introduction of the Whisperers.
okay. And we're
Um,
confident it wasn't just a person, one of the whisperers trying to
I don't think so because, like I said, this was pre-Whisperer.
free whis okay, so okay, well, maybe no one's point I haven't seen it pop up yet on social, not to say it's
Well,
not there, but
and like I said, I mean, there was a whole bunch going on.
mhm,
People were running around, the walkers were coming through.
yeah,
Um, but I do remember there was something about, you know, like the front doorknob being, jimmied or jiggled or something. And, and I just
hmm,
kind of push it off as, there's a whole bunch of walkers pushing against the door.
mhm,
And that could have been what it was.
and that could the yeah, if you're pressing against the door, that could maybe if a lot of people are pressed against the door, that could maybe jiggle a doorknob.
Mhm.
Mm,
But I'm kind of now, because it's kind of made me wonder because there have been these instances where, and there have been people saying that's, the commenting that sometimes walkers go back to familiar places.
yeah, they tried to reinforce that or bring that up in fear, right?
Mhm.
With the senator or congressman or whatever
Yeah.
that Alicia was trying to follow. So,
Mhm.
they have kinda brought that back, but it didn't come to fruition, nothing happened. They thought it was, you know
Right. So I think they've been kind of sliding these in there, and it's not so much, it has been blatant. But now it's kind of making me wonder, the few times here or there where the walkers have acted uncharacteristic. Now I'm wondering if they're going, "Oh yeah, hey, guess what? Those were the variants." Um,
Hmm,
you know what I mean?
yeah. I don't know. Well, maybe the showrunners will tell us after this season has ended and we start diving into stuff, maybe they'll backtrack and tell us if that stuff was on purpose.
I hope. Yeah, I do. I mean, if it was on purpose, if these were, I do kind of hope they go, "Oh yeah, it happened here. Oh, remember this time?" And it would be really nice if they would let us. Of course, they probably won't, but it would be nice if someone did.
The hilarity if it was just a, series of coincidences, and now they're like, "Let's introduce variances," and, "Oh, we
Hmm.
just happen to have some other stuff that happened."
Right. I mean, and it
Yeah.
could be both. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, it's, so far, I mean, now on the bright side, this walker was still slow moving
Mhm, it was.
and it wasn't super powerful or anything. It was just, slightly smarter than the average bear, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Mhm.
And but but now but of course now this introduced a new worry. Are we safe in a house where the door is shut? Are we, if we climb upstairs, are we still safe? Because
Right.
there's been certain things you're like, okay, if I climb up a tree, if I go up a ladder, if I go someplace high, if I shut a door, I'm safe.
Right.
Um, so now there's going to have to be a lot of reassessing on how to, you know, go forward.
Yeah, but I think for me, it will be strange if, they continue their route, right? They are trying to
Mhm.
go to Oceanside, and they don't mention to anyone else what happened there. If they if that
Oh,
happens and they never bring it up again,
I will be
that's
very
gonna be
disappointed.
weird. Yeah.
I don't think they will because they even named the episode Variant.
Yes, I know.
So, I mean, it would be very very odd that, human nature being what it is. Oh my God, guys,
Exactly, like,
there
"Oh,
is
what
this
happened to
walker.
us?" Right. You're not gonna believe this
Yeah,
kinda thing.
that you have to, and I'm a storyteller, but I'm here to tell you most people are storytellers, at least verbal ones, and this is a story that 99.99% of humanity could not help but share.
Exactly,
You
and
know?
people love sharing bad stories,
Yeah.
bad things that have happened to them, so, yeah.
If they say nothing, I'm gonna go, okay, okay. There's something wrong. These are not real humans.
I'm calling shenanigans on this, the whole thing, like, come on.
Exactly.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Now with I do kind of hope at some point they do go back and reclaim that, you know, the medieval place because honestly, that would be a really cool encampment.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if some of them ended up there
Yeah,
after people are gonna flee the Commonwealth, more
yeah,
people than just the non-people that the people that didn't belong there or didn't start there.
yeah.
Other people are gonna leave.
Well, and I could see where everyone that was from the kingdom would find that place really attractive.
I know.
There's a nice symmetry to it.
Maybe they could get Ezekiel to change his mind.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I mean, again, if Jerry survives, I would be okay with a King Jerry.
Mhm.
I really would be.
Everyone
And
loves Jerry. That's why he has to go.
I know.
They want you to cry.
Well, and here's the thing, they're going to Oceanside, and we have no idea what's going on at Oceanside.
No clue. We don't even know how many people, what's his face killed.
Right.
Hornsby.
I mean, he flipped the coin, so we don't know if they lived or died, and I can't imagine him honestly letting him live,
Mhm.
no matter what the coin toss was.
Oh, no. He's going to die.
Yeah.
S some way, somehow he's gonna die.
You know.
Um,
So when they
s
go into Oceanside, though, I am pretty sure it's just going to be the village of the dead.
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, or very few people left after slaughtering the walkers that were there,
Mhm.
having to put down their own people.
Yep.
Well, speaking of deaths, there's one more person who is on my death list, and that's Rosita, and she
Mhm.
got attacked at the end of this episode.
Yes, she did.
I
But
wonder who that was. Who do you think that was that took her?
I
Pamela's
think it's
people?
I think Hornsby's people. I think
Mhm.
they're either Hornsby or I mean, honestly, it could just as easily be the governors. I mean, she is pretty livid about this whole thing, and um, based on the previews I saw for next week, not spoilers, but previews that The Walking Dead sent out. She's rounding up everyone from Alexandria Hilltop and Oceanside that were there.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be either or at this
That's
point.
that scene was wild. Like, they attacked her, and she gave a good fight. She did.
Yeah. I want to know where Coco was. I want to know where the people that she was talking to. All right, ready to go because she was expecting. I think
Someone.
the reason why she wasn't freaking out at the people there at first was or the sounds of them is because she was expecting people.
Maybe they came in and took them already.
Yeah. So,
Quietly. She didn't hear.
mhm. Because I
Hmm.
don't know who all she had with her, but she was packing up.
I've
So I
gotta
would
assume that's Gabriel and Coco, probably.
right. That would be my guess.
Uh-huh.
Um So yeah, but like I said, they're pretty much rounding up and here's the thing, even now that Eugene has, given himself up and they're still going to go ahead and round up everyone.
Now, do you think Princess got out of there before they started rounding, them up again? Because Princess left after she had that conversation with,
Yeah,
um
but she was meeting up because remember she said she was meeting up with Daryl.
yeah, they probably got her.
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't think any of them got out because they were all waiting for that shift change.
Mhm.
All of them because they were going to sneak out, you know, more or less together. So
Yikes.
if they were all taken, you know.
I know. So now I'm wondering who dies. It's so many possibilities now.
You know, I don't want Princess to die, but if she did, I could see that just absolutely unhinging Mercer.
Absolutely. I think that, you could tell he really cares for her,
Oh
but
yeah.
he doesn't seem like the I love you kind of person. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't seem like he has professed any kind of love for her. Even when she was telling her story, he was like, looked sad for her, but
Hmm.
he was still hard. You know what I mean? He was still
Well,
hard. And so,
yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I think he was hurt, but, but Mercer isn't clingy. You know what I mean?
absolutely not. He isn't.
And I don't. And after her saying, hey, this is
But
I
look,
can't just accept this.
most boyfriends would want to look out for their girlfriend.
Hmm.
Instead, he lets her get apprehended and she's questioned for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that if that's my boyfriend, he would know I had nothing to do with it and he would find a way to get me out of here other than 3 hours of torture in a smelly place.
Well, but here's the thing, Mercer has this really weird sense of fairness, okay? And you can tell. I mean, everything that Mercer does is based on this system of this idea of fair,
Mhm.
okay? And in his mind, if he treated her differently, that wouldn't be fair,
Who
you
gives a
know?
shit about fair? When you're talking about family, who cares about fair? And maybe that's what it will take to get him to get there
Mhm.
because fair has done nothing for him. It has helped no one. And he hasn't yet figured that out, apparently.
But I think by the end of this episode, he had been every person that he had interactions with
Mhm.
in one way or another told him, "You're wrong.
Oh, yeah.
You are on the wrong side. You are defending the wrong things. You're standing up for the wrong people."
Mhm.
And he has said, several times throughout the season is, he doesn't work for the government. He works for the people. But if that is true, what is going on right now should not be happening.
Right. I agree with you.
And I think, you know, each encounter that he had was successively more intense.
Mm.
And, so by the time he got to his sister, after all the exchanges and he got to his sister, and she basically said, "Our father would be ashamed of you."
Mhm. Slap in the face.
And, he never would, this is not what he stood for. This is not what, he would have stood by. He would be ashamed of you and he would be proud of me. And, and you could see that that affected him. He's not an outwardly emotive person.
No,
Um,
but I gotta wonder, was that enough? Every conversation, no, was that enough? No. Was that enough? No. You gotta wonder when
well,
is
and I
enough?
I think part of it is he hasn't he's been hit with wham, 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 and he really hasn't had a chance to truly process any of it. But you can see each time he's had one of these encounters, his responses were more hesitant.
I hear what you're saying, and I
And
generally agree, but these are dangerous times, and he doesn't have time to take a cup of coffee and think about it.
yeah, I know. But again, when Eugene came in and turned himself in, and I gotta say, all those soldiers in that room looking all freaked out. Ah, Eugene's here. It's not like he came in with a lit bomb or something.
Yeah.
And you know, the level of fear was really excessive. This is Eugene. Now, if it was Daryl, okay, fine, I can kind of get it. But
Uh-huh.
Eugene,
They were acting like he was a dangerous criminal to apprehend.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I realize that we as the viewers have had a longer relationship with Eugene than these guys have, but still, come on, it's Eugene. And but there at the very end, he's like, "Do you have anything else to confess?" Yes, it was me. I acted alone. And Mercer took a step back. Before he did anything else, he took a step back.
Yeah.
And then he had him taken, took away. And like I said, he's not really outwardly emotive. He never has been. But I think that step back was as loud as a shout in some ways.
Yeah, definitely. And also, he can't, if you want to help without being obvious that you flipped, you can't show that to anyone,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So,
And I I
yeah.
re I really think that by the time if everyone gets rounded up, I think that's gonna be his come to Jesus moment. He's
Mhm.
gonna have to pick a side.
Mhm.
He can't stay neutral in the middle at that point, especially, like I said, if anything happens to Princess, oh, it's over. I know it's over. Or his sister.
Oh, his sister, well, we know nothing's going to happen to her. At least right now, right? So, because Pamela has pretty much said she's not going to do anything to her. So, unless something happens, something flips, and she's killed by accident, or, I just
Right.
can't imagine them actually taking Max out. Not at this point.
Well, I don't know that it's gonna be like an official, execution kind of thing, but something's gonna happen. They're rounding up everyone, all the everyone from the outside.
Mhm.
And I have a feeling things are going to escalate very fast from this point on.
I hope so. I want to see what's gonna happen in episode 20. I might actually just watch when we are done recording this podcast because I wanna know what happened.
I
I
feel
might
you.
watch. I'm like, I gotta know. Just for the plain fact, the very same reason that I said last week. If I let it sit for too long, I know I'm gonna see something else. I'm gonna see it and I'm gonna be mad.
Right. I feel you. I
So,
feel it.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. Um and I will have to, and I do have to say, yeah, I have been kind of giggling. I'm like, well, for everyone that's watching ahead, you're gonna have a 2 week gap.
I know. I know, and here I go trying to watch the day after. I'm like,
I
"Oh,
know.
what's the difference?"
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to slow down. I don't know how. Maybe I can just I'm not sure how I can avoid it because, algorithms, they know
Hmm.
what you look at. They're gonna put it in front of your face somehow. How can I avoid it?
Yeah. I've had to. I mean, honestly, I've been mostly avoiding it because I have not been doing a whole lot of scrolling on social media. At least not
I
on
guess
Sundays or
technically
Mondays.
I could post what I need to post and don't scroll, right? I could
Mhm.
technically go on there, post what I need to post, and just get right back off.
I mean, I do. I do some,
Mhm.
but I make sure that I don't look at anything Walker related on like Facebook.
I try not to, but I'm telling you, like, for example, in my news feed, I have a Google news feed,
Mhm.
and it has everything in there from, like, local stuff to all types of TV shows that I'm interested in to
I know.
movies, and it's everything, and
I
books
know.
and everything, and as I'm scrolling through articles,
I
stuff
know.
pops out at you. So it's not even like I'm not seeking it out. I'm not using keywords. Google is just smart enough.
Right. Oh, I know. Believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on my phone I have it set. It pops up with major stories and stuff.
Mhm.
So whatever the algorithm, because I for on both Google and on a news site that I subscribe to,
Mhm.
and and it's one of those smart news or something. It gives me like 30 different whatevers. Um, and I've noticed here lately that my news feed, okay, from the news program is starting to fill up with uh, uh the um dragons.
Uh, yes.
I'm like, I think I clicked on one too many articles because that's about half the news stories now.
It figures out you like it, so it's
Yeah,
gonna give that to you. Like,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, this I want actual news. And what am I getting? What are the Targaryens, up to this week? Ah, leave me alone.
I know. It's trouble. This stuff is hard. It's hard to avoid it unless you're just not on it at all.
Right.
It's
And
hard.
and you and I both. I mean, even just in I mean, I'm online for work, because I have kids, family, yada yada yada. And so
Mhm.
we all get on, when we all and it's so easy just to pick the phone up and go, I wonder what's going on in the world today.
Mhm.
You know, it's just so easy.
I know. I've been doing a good job though. I have a lot of stuff to read to prepare for my other podcast. I've been playing this new game on my Nintendo Switch. I've been really trying to avoid it. I'm telling you, I've been like giving the full try
Your
to.
Switch is getting retired, right?
Oh well, this is Switch Lite technically.
Yeah.
It's
But
getting retired.
yep,
To what? For what?
they're discontinuing it.
Well, I'm gonna play these games on here until the wheels fall off. Okay.
I'm letting you know, because my boyfriend was quite upset when he found out he got an email from whatever the place where he gets his games, and letting him know that they're being discontinued, and the games being deplatformed.
What the? How did I not know that?
I don't know.
Oh. Well, I know the eShop feature is being retired. I didn't know the actual device was being retired.
Yep. So
Ooh, okay. Well, see, I'm gonna have to look into that, and then next thing you know, I'll be seeing all Nintendo news.
yeah. Oh, he's livid because that was his favorite gaming system.
uh, I'm not much of a gamer. I'm a sometimey casual gamer, and I only got into it because of Animal Crossing, and everyone was doing it during COVID. So I had to jump on that bandwagon, and now I have a few other games that I play, and I don't play Animal Crossing anymore. So, but that makes me sad.
I'm
Oh,
sorry. I did need to be the bearer of bad news.
well, I guess I'll have to find out some kind of way. So
Yeah. Better than when your game just stops and you have
I
no idea what's
know,
going on, right?
what's wrong with that? It's a brack.
It no work no more. Make
I
work.
know.
Make work.
Oh my gosh, right? Oh, Lord have mercy.
All
Okay, I
right.
think we're done. What do you think, Lisa?
I do believe so, yes, dear.
Okay, so it has been a fabulous episode. So much fun talking about episode 19. If you're still listening to the sound of my voice, please hit like and subscribe before you leave. And we will be right back here next week talking about episode 20. That's it. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.